You're muted, Sneha.
That was, I think, definitely worth the wait. Another small little lesson in perseverance, getting to the root of the issue, like we've been talking all throughout. So I'm so glad that we were able to figure it out. That wasn't a performance to be missed by any cost. So that was definitely a wonderful performance, and kudos to you for bringing this out in your student. Would you like to say a few lines about both your performance and Shraddha's performance as well?
Sure. Shraddha is been with me since past, I think, about 7 years or 8 years, give or take. And she's going to go. She's a senior. She's supposed to do her Ranga Pravesham this year because of the COVID and technical issues. We couldn't pursue that. But she is depicting. She did Satyabhama Pravesadaru, which is again a Swadhina Patika Nayaka, which I also did before, which I did a Dharmapuri Javali, that is also Swadhina Patika, and also a glimpses of um, Kalahantarita is there. So Kalahantarita is like, when you, so after effects of Kalahantarita, when you quarrel with your husband or your beloved and you deny him, and then your back of your mind, you have that regret that, oh, why did I do that? So that's what is depicted in this particular, Padam, Javali, which I did, which is a Dharmapuri Javali, very, very famous one. And then, um, everybody who is pursuing Kuchipudi as their art form knows Bahama Kalapam for sure. And this particular Darbu is a Pravesa Darbu, which has been um, learned, taught in several ways. And you have to have a certain age to learn this Pravesa Darbu. So Shraddha also depicted Bhama, Satya Bhama, the beloved of Sri Krishna, and she's very proud. She's a proud Anayaki, and that's what she depicted right now. So, because of the technical difficulty we had today, sorry about that. I apologize to all my audience. We will jump into our next guest, who is going to be, in front of us in a couple of minutes. But the Nayaka but she's going to talk about is she will talk. So Sneha, go ahead and introduce our next guest, Sneha.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's a small cost of having such a big event, that too virtually. So I'm sure everybody completely understands and supports you while you were able to figure it out. I think that's the thing that matters at the end of the day. And absolutely, we are now ready to welcome our next esteemed guest into our studio. Srimati Prafulla Velluri is an accomplished Kuchipudi dancer, choreographer, and a trained Carnatic classical singer as well. She started training in the Kuchipudi dance form from Guru late Sri Yeleswarapu Surya Prakash Sharma, and later from Guru Nataraja Hamsa, Sri D.V. Satyakumar, who was a disciple of Guru late Sri Vampati Chinna Satya. She later graduated from Telugu University, majoring in Kuchipudi dance. She was awarded the title of Natya Sundara Lahari on the occasion of her Kuchipudi Rangapravesham from none other than Padma Bhushan Dr. Nukala Chinna Satyanarayana. She and her daughter were awarded certificates by the Guinness World Records for their participation in the largest Kuchipudi dance during the first annual International Kuchipudi Convention organized by Silicon Andhra in California in 2008. Since she moved to the US in 1999, she has performed shows at Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Dallas, Seattle, Connecticut, and various other cities. She gives also lecture demonstrations explaining and demonstrating Kuchipudi style, which is one of the richest traditional art forms of India, to varied audiences. She also collaborates with artists of different disciplines, and she's an energetic and loving teacher. She is an excellent example of the Guru Shishya Parampara of teaching that has preserved the purity of the Indian classical dance since the time of the Vedas. It is our pleasure and honor to welcome you into our studio. Welcome.
Namaste. My name is Prafulla, and thank you for that amazing introduction and then elaborated introduction. As you all know, first of all, Sri Om Sri Ganesaya Namaha, Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha, and thanks a lot for this wonderful opportunity. Kiran, see, the thing is, when you introduce yourself, like you need to get the introduction and everything. I
Right.
agree. But once the camera is on, you want to go perform.
Correct. I agree.
Talk later. Let's do it. It's
Sure.
like. But thank you so much. That was a very, very lovely introduction. The way that you put it. Thank you so much for that.
It is
Thank
our
you.
honor to have you.
And it's mutual. The feeling is mutual. And for dance, I'm sure you guys all know that any dancer would want to. You get the chance, you want to perform.
Perform. Yes,
So
absolutely. So let's jump into your first kids performance, Prafulla. Welcome again. And then the first they're going to perform Amba Paraku, correct?
yes, so Girijarnav Purnendu, which the Ganesha Prarthana, it's a small slokam, and Amba Paraku, which is the Balatripura Sundari of Kuchipudi
Yep.
village.
Okay.
And Abhinaya Surya and Avanti Moghe will be performing.
All right.
Those will be performing 2 songs, and there's one more set. Raksha Nanduri and Ria Edugani. They both performing Antarang.
Antarang. Yep. We will.
Hope you all enjoy, and please bless my children. Any mistakes they did, those are all mine.
Of course.
Definitely not theirs, because they work hard a lot. I know that. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Let's work on it.
गिरिजार्णवपूर्णेन्दुं समर्चितकलानिधिम् अपास्त विघ्नतामिश्रम् सूर्पकर्णमुपास्महे सूर्पकर्णमुपास्महे ततं तततां ततां दीं दतीं ददतीं ददीं तं ततं तततां ततां दीं दतीं ददतीं ददीं तं 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 दिं 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 तत्तिकुतगताहन किरतगतगदिवतगतगुदरिकिरतगतं तगुदरिकिरतगतं तगुदरिकिरतग वाणी परापु गीर्वाणी परापु वीणा विमोहन वाणी परापु वाणी परापु गीर्वाणी परापु वीणा विमोहन संगीत साहित्य नाट्यादि साहित्य जगति पालिल छेड़ी जननी परापु मूटो मूटोलको मूलमैना కూచిపూడిలో వెలసిన బాలా పరాకు వాణి పరాకు కిరాణి పరాకు వీణా విమోహన వాణి పరాకు పదములలోళవళి దయ చూపువాణి మముదరి చేతువాణి గివాణి అలివేణి మృదుపాణి అజురాణి గివాణి అలివేణి మృదుపాణి అజురాణి గివాణి అలివేణి మృదుపాణి అజురాణి
That was wonderful, wonderfully presented by Prafulla Veluri's students. Wonderful job with those kids, Prafulla. Really appreciate it. Kudos to you.
Thanks, Kiran.
So let's work on our second performance right now. I'm finding the shade screen. Okay.
కమల భవుడు తాళమును వేయగ కమల భవుడు తాళమును వేయగ కమల భవుడు తాళమును వేయగ కమల భవుడు కమలాక్షుడు మురళీ బ్రోయింప కమలాక్షుడు మురళీ బ్రోయింప కమలాక్షుడు మురళీ
నందికేశుడు దత్త పలికింత
తత్పథం తత్పథం పదం
నందికేశుడు
పదం తత్పథం
దత్త
తత్పథం పదం
పలికింత
పదం తత్పథం తత్పథం
నందికేశుడు
తత్పథం
నందికేశుడు దత్త పలికింత అధిమిత అధిమిత కథమియలుచును అధిమిత అధిమిత కథమియలుచును ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు నటనమాడనమ్మ హరుడు ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు శిరమున గంగతరంగములీల శిరమున గంగతరంగములీల శిరమున గంగతరంగములీల శిరమున గంగతరంగములీల గంభీర జటాజూట మల్లాడ శిరమున గంగతరంగములీల గంభీర జటాజూట మల్లాడ పన్నగరాజు పడగిప్పి ఆడగ 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 తధిమిత ధిమిత కధిమియలుచును తధిమిత ధిమిత కధిమియలుచును ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు నటనమాడనమ్మ హరుడు ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు నటనమాడనమ్మ హరుడు ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు నటనమాడనమ్మ హరుడు ఆడనమ్మ శివుడు నటనమాడనమ్మ హరుడు
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Ravita. They
Thank
did
you.
a wonderful job. I could see Shiva in front of me, you know, doing all kinds of activities or doing last tandavam. Oh my God, it was so nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
But
that.
I would like to say this. The original choreography is by Sri Pasumarthi Venkateswar Sarma garu. So
Okay.
when he visited here, he came to Rhode Island. Stayed with us. We learned a lot from him. So he taught us this song, and allowed us to do the choreography a bit and here and there. So
Sure.
I could also explore the choreography on the same song. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Master Garu.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kiran.
Thank you for that. So we'll jump into your performance, Rafala. I can't wait to watch it. What is the Naika you're exploring today?
Uh, Today, so as we discussed,
Just give a glimpse. We will work on your performance and then you can talk. Just give us a glimpse. Give us the name.
the Khandita.
Khandita. All right. So you want to first perform and then explain about it?
Sure, sure. Are we doing the other song for the kids, the other one too,
Yes.
or you just want me to do it first?
No, no. We'll do the kids and then you can, work on, yours for
Okay,
sure. Yep.
sure.
Okay. I just wanted to know the Naika you're doing. Very curious about that.
Khandita, Khandita. Let's see.
Right.
Anticipation.
Yes.
Switch it off.
అంతరంగ అమ్మ చరణ కమలము చింతలన్నీ తొలగించి తిరుల నిలవులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు అంతరంగ పీఠికపై అమ్మ చరణ కమలము చింతలన్నీ తొలగించి తిరుల నిలవులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు ఉభయ సంధ్యలుగ వెలిగెను మయడుగుల పారాడి పడినెల వంకల సొగసులు మృదుల పైన కోటి కొలలు ఉభయ సంధ్యలుగ వెలిగెను మయడుగుల పారాడి పడినెల వంకల సొగసులు మృదుల పైన కోటి కొలలు జ్యోతిశ్చక్రములాయను శివుడు చిరసిరి మట్టెలు తొలి పలుకులు విలుకుమని విలుకు వెలుగు తందెను జ్యోతిశ్చక్రములాయను శివుడు చిరసిరి మట్టెలు తొలి పలుకులు విలుకుమని విలుకు వెలుగు తందెను అంతరంగ పీఠికపై అమ్మ చరణ కమలము తొలగించే తిరుల నిలవులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు కొలుసు దేవ కన్యలిరుగు ఈ పదనాలింద్యము చలపడు దానవుల కెరుక తల్లి కాడ కాఠిన్యము కొలుసు దేవ కన్యలిరుగు ఈ పదనాలింద్యము చలపడు దానవుల కెరుక తల్లి కాడ కాఠిన్యము జనరాజకుల శిక్షకుల మహుగా చేయు నిలయ సర్వమంగళముల నిగుణ జనని లలిత చరణము జనరాజకుల శిక్షకుల మహుగా చేయు నిలయ సర్వమంగళముల నిగుణ జనని లలిత చరణము అంతరంగ పీఠికపై అమ్మ చరణ కమలము చింతలన్నీ తొలగించి తిరుల నిలవులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు అంతరంగ పీఠికపై అమ్మ చరణ కమలము చింతలన్నీ తొలగించి తిరుల నిలవులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు కోటి వెలుగు కొలువులు
That was so sweet. They did an amazing job. I feel my kids are doing in front of me, and I was just telling Sneha that maybe hopefully next year my little tiny tots will come there and then do perform. So, but it
Yeah.
was really very nice.
Thank you, Kiran. And this is a very special song, Kiran. So this is written by Sri Samavedam Shanmukh Sharma garu.
Oh, okay. Of
So
course.
yeah, in one occasion we had a great fortune to perform in front of him on
Yes.
his compositions. So he kind of suggested me that Amma, why don't you try this song? And I'm like, it's like
Was
it's
sure.
something.
No, of
So
course it is. It is.
so I had a good fortune to choreograph this song. So
Okay.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'm so glad you liked it.
No, thank you. Thank you for doing this. So let's jump on to your performance now. So,
Okay.
Anita. You want to first perform and then talk, or you can talk
Yes,
and
please. First, I would like to perform.
perform?
Okay. Get that,
Yes.
So, when I wanted to, when we were talking about Khandita, I said, okay, let me do this Kopametal Raka Yundara or Samjavali.
Right.
But now, this morning I thought that, why don't I take a piece of Satyabhama,
Of course.
So, and I think the theme of Satyabhama is running today because, the
Yes.
first one was Bhama Pravesadaru. So, in Krishna Parijatam, the dance drama, the epic drama, that
Drama.
all the Vempati Master Garu,
Yep.
his students, all. So, I had my Master Garu, Satyakumar Garu, taught me Bhama. So, in that, of course, it's all Khandita in that particular scene, where Narada comes and tells Bhama that, hey, Krishna gave the precious Parijatam to
Raja.
Rukmini.
Right.
So she gets like rage and she says, oh, how could he give that flower?
The
That's
flower.
that's the padyam I want to start with in Simhendra Madhyamam.
Sure.
After that, there is like a, the scene continues and Krishna comes to cool her off and everything. So I'm not doing the whole thing, but what I'm trying to portray is the Khandita Naika that we wanted to do it today. So when Krishna arrives, Satyabhama is saying, "Enni nerchinavra, yeah, until yesterday, before yesterday, you were like so, because whatever I was telling you, you were listening to me,
Listening
but
to
you
me.
gave
Yeah.
the flower to her. So until just that two Darulu, I would like to
Sure.
present
Absolutely.
by God's grace. Let's see. Let me just put me the Shruti box on. So I'll be singing and doing it.
Sure. Yep. Thank you. So, um, Prafula is bringing us in front of us the Vachkabnaya aspect of Kuchipudi, which is also, I mean, one of the, um, I'm blessed to learn Kuchipudi because that is one of the dance forms where you have all four abnayas. Um, Angika, Aharya, Vachika, and Satvika Abnaya. So Vachika Abnaya aspect is also bringing up right now by Prafula. Thank you, Prafula, for that. Yeah, go ahead.
ఏమీ నిక్కముగానను వరచి ప్రాణేశుండు శ్రీ పారిజాతామూల్య ప్రసవంబును రుక్మిణికి తానై ఇచ్చిన ఇచ్చపో తా మోమాటమును మాని గై కొనన మాత్సర్యాన ఆధూర్త ఈ మాటలు విని ఇంక ప్రాణంబులతో ఎట్లుందు మౌనీశ్వరా ఆ ఎన్ని నేర్చి నాబురా రాజగోపాల ఎన్ని నేర్చి నాబురా నిన్న మొన్నటిలోన నెరజాడవైనావు నిన్న మొన్నటిలోన నెరజాడవైనావు ఎన్ని నేర్చినావురా తక్కుల మారి రుక్మిణి ఒక్కున చేరితి బటరా తక్కుల మారి రుక్మిణి అక్కున చేరితి బటరా పెక్కుమాటలేలరా నిక్కముగ నాతో బల్కరా పెక్కుమాటలేలరా నిక్కముగ నాతో పల్కర ఎన్ని నేర్చి నవ్వురో రాజగోపాల నిన్న మున్నటిలోన నెరజాడవైనావు ఎన్ని నేర్చి నవ్వురో చాలు నయగారాలిక చాలు ఇక పోరా పంతలాడక చాలు నయగారాలిక చాలు ఇక పోరా పంతాలాడక కల్లబొల్లి మమతలు నాటకములు కల్లబొల్లి మమతలు నాటకములు చల్లవింక నా వల్ల కాదురా కల్లబొల్లి మమతలు నాటకములు చల్లవింక నా వల్ల కాదురా చాలు నయగారాలిక చాలు ఇక పోరా పంతల పారిజాత సుమ పారితోషికము గొడసినట్టి సతి విడిదికి పోర పారిజాత సుమ పారితోషికము గడసినట్టి సతి విడిదికి పోర చాలు నయగార చాలు ఇక పోర పంతాలాడ థ్యాంక్ యూ.
That was simply amazing, Prafulla. I was like, oh my God, that's like really, really beautiful. I can't even express my words.
I
Thank you
just
so much
tried.
for that, Kandita. Oh my God, such a beautiful Kandita. And knowing you, that is perfect for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel that why did I thought of this like couple days back? I would have practiced a bit more. You
Oh,
know,
without
this.
practice, you did such a good job. I mean, like, there are no words really. It's
Thank you
amazing.
so much, Kiran. Thank you. I tried. It's all God's grace. You know that.
No, I understand that. That's just like really, really wonderful. And then, as you have learned from gurus, so many gurus, and I could see all of that in your performance today.
Thank you. Thank
Kandita, what a Kandita it is! What a Kandita!
you.
I still can't get over that. Uh, so now I kept on asking the same question to all the dancers and gurus before who came yesterday and today also in the morning. What is Abhinaya to you?
What is Abhinaya to me? Okay. Just wanted to.
Sure.
Uh, what is Abhinaya to me?
Yes.
Uh, Abhinaya is everything to me, Kiran, because it's not just in the dance we are doing,
Correct.
right? The moment we wake up,
Right.
we are waking up the kids. Nana, please, Amma, can you please get up? Nana, get up you right now. Everything, it's
Yeah.
like, is the lunchbox ready? I'm getting it like 1 minute, please, please, please. Oh my God, the bus is coming. So you wake up till you
Right.
go to bed. It is all Abhinayam, Kiran. So Abhinayam is life, Kiran. For me,
Exactly.
Abhinaya is life.
Right. Yeah. So, and especially Kuchipudi, it's Lokadharmi. So, whatever we do in regular activities, just a little bit more stylized and showing it. So, yeah, that's an apt dance form which we chose, I
Oh yeah.
guess. And then the
And I'm
Abhinaya,
proud of it. We are proud of it.
yeah, proud of it. Absolutely, absolutely. And I am so proud to announce or say, if I may, that Kuchipudi is one of the those art forms where you have all four abhinayas, as told before. And thank you for bringing up the Vachika Abhinaya aspect of Kuchipudi by singing yourself and doing. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you
Thanks.
so
Thank you. Thanks for the great platform for everybody, the
much.
teachers and the students. It's great. Thank you so much, Kiran, for the opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure having you in Siddhendra Aradhana, 2022, and hope to see you more often in future and hopefully in person next year, maybe.
Sure.
Yes,
Padam is always ready to perform. So thank you so much, Kiran.
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. I think uh, one of the things that truly struck me was when you mentioned that any mistake by the students is my mistake, but the credit goes to them for a beautiful performance. I think
Absolutely. All
in the world today, when everybody is wanting to take the credit that they can get, it can only be a humility of a guru who truly cares for their students, and that's something that I think will stay with me for a long time. And of course, the graceful performance.
Okay, let's don't wait a minute longer and welcome our next guest, Sneha.
Wonderful. And it is our immense honor to welcome Sri Lalit Subramanian to our studio here today. He is, as everybody would know, a Carnatic and Hindustani classical vocalist from Cleveland. He is originally from Pune in India and received his initial Carnatic vocal training from Srimati Chitra Subramanian and Srimati Rajalakshmi Pichumani. And further, he also sought training from Sri Neveli Shantana Gopalan and Sri Tiruvarur Girish. He received his Hindustani training from Pandit Mahadev Pednekar of Goa and Pandit Shekhar Kumbhojikar of Pune, who were both disciples of Pandit Jitendra Abhisheki himself. He has also been under the tutelage of Ghazal Ustad Anwar Qureshi. Lalitji is a percussionist and has studied tabla with Pandit Anand Godse of Pune and Mridangam with his cousin Sri Vijay Sriram. He holds a Sangeet Visharad degree and was a Yuvavani artist with All India Radio Pune for Hindustani classical music. He has also sung playback for a Marathi film. He is both a solo performer as well as an accompanist for dance, which is going to be a majority of the topic that we would love to discuss with him today. And he has worked extensively on projects with well known dancers and dance companies in the US. His work ranging from musical performances to creative work, such as composing an entire production score. He teaches music and percussion to several students as part of his music school, Madhuralaya. Also, apart from all of this, Lalaji is a biomedical engineer and works for a medical device firm in the Cleveland area. So, a man of many, many, many talents. Our pleasure and honor to have you here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lalitji, for accepting the invitation and being
Absolutely, my
part
pleasure.
of Siddhendra Aradhana 2022. It's our honor and a pleasure to welcome you for season 2 this year. Thank you. Really appreciate
Thank you
it.
so
And
much. Thank you so
very
much.
few people know that you did a playback for a Marathi movie also. That's something, that as Sneha said, we have a multi-talented personality in front of us, and we have to probably, avail that opportunity or take advantage of that and maybe start, uh, you know, working towards that. But thank you so much again. Really, honor is all mine.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be part of this program. I watched a little bit of the previous programs, and it's going really well. Congratulations for putting this together. I know a lot of hard work must have gone into it, and it's very difficult to coordinate people from all different places, right? So so
Right.
kudos to you. Kudos to you for doing this.
No, thank you so much for everybody's appreciation, and everybody has their part of share. And we, as we said, we are like a mala, one flower getting from each where, and then a thread joins us together, and that thread is, I think, our culture, which makes us together, and we can make a mala out of it. But yeah, thank you again for the kind words. Now, as Sneha introduced, you are a percussionist, a mridangist, a tabla player, Carnatic music exponent, and also Hindustani music. So, um, for me, when it comes to Carnatic music, I mean, I do hear kacheris also, of course, but
Hmm.
being a dancer, both in Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, it's like the the vocal support which we get,
Right.
which gives us immense joy and pleasure. While I mean, it's totally different experience when we have um, live orchestra versus recorded. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so being a seasoned vocalist, you have been, doing many Carnatic musical concerts, Hindustani musical concerts, and you've been supporting many arangetrams, rangapraveshams, all of that. So, how is it different, and how difficult is it from one another, and especially to get to um, the emotions of all the heroines in the so. Um, if you have noticed, the whole our Siddhendra Aradhana is designed around Naiki Naika Bhavas.
Hmm.
So it's like all Abhinaya. So when it comes to vocal per se. So you are a vocalist, of course, and then
Right.
you are also give support for um, dance dance
Right.
recital. So how is it? Is it different, difficult? Please go ahead and
Right. So, a lot has been said about conveying Naika Bhava through dance and music to the audience as we talk about conveying that aspect. But there are a couple of aspects that I'd like to touch upon. First, as you rightly pointed out, the dynamics of getting the emotions of Naika or Nayaka to the audience is vastly different based on what kind of performance it is. Right. So if it's a purely vocal performance like a kacheri, you don't have the visual, right? So it's
correct
different in that aspect. But
aspect.
what happens there is it's sort of a double-edged sword depending on what the intent is, because an intent of a kacheri of a performer really is based on the performer's aesthetic, right? So if the
Correct.
intent of the performer or their aesthetic space is to focus more on aspects like raga bhavam or tala aspects or aspects that don't have to be but can be separated from the lyrical content of the composer, it's sort of allowed in a vocal performance. so it,
Right.
so it gets a lot easier in that sense. But once you get the lyrical quotient into the picture, then it becomes a question of what is the bhava, who is the naika or naika,
Right.
and is the singer appropriately positioned to be able to convey this.
Correct.
Right. So, for example, if this is a challenge that me as a male singer that faces with some of these compositions is if a
Compositions.
male singer is trying to convey a bhava of a female heroine, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's a different challenge. Or even if it's a naika bhava, but the emotion is not socially relevant today, that there is a greater challenge there that
Yes.
happens.
Correct. Okay.
So
Okay.
that is from a point of view of a kacheri performer where there is no dance in picture.
In picture. Okay.
But as soon as you bring the dance into picture, like coming to music as an accompaniment for dance, then it becomes a team effort. And
Right. It is.
like you were
It is.
mentioning,
Yes. It becomes a team effort. Yeah.
so the first thing for any musician, be it the vocalist, violinist, or flutist, mridangam player, or veena player, whoever is in the orchestra, the first thing for them is to understand the sthai bhava of the composition that is being
Composition.
presented. So it's important for everybody to be on the same page and well aligned. First the dancer, then obviously the musicians, in understanding what is the dominant emotion of the composition. This is, I mean, it's apparent if it's a simple composition, but sometimes the dancers tend to choose like a different alternate interpretation of the padam or a jaravarnam that is being presented.
Varnam.
um, and usually if it's like an older padam, for example, or a varnam that contains themes that are um, were socially acceptable back then, but then today it's sort of a little uncomfortable. There are a lot of compositions that we encounter in that
Correct.
space, right?
Yes. Yes.
But the dancer usually will choose to put a more contemporary spin or something that's more appropriate today. So if that is happening, then the musician also has to be on board with that sthai bhava
That's Sai
of the
Baba.
presentation. So I like to call it, it's the mood setting of the presentation. So even before
Presentation.
the dancer comes on stage, or maybe they're on stage but not visible because the lights are off, we have the opportunity as musicians to set the stage through maybe an alapana on an instrument, or
Right.
maybe a little tanam on the veena, or a vocal alapana, whatever is acceptable to the dancer because they are the main performer. So this mood setting really helps the dancer to have the stage set for presenting the sthai bhava of whatever they are presenting.
Not just dancer. I think the vocal plays a very important and an integrate role in the whole dance recital, because if the vocalist is not up to the depicting whatever it is, the whole rasotpatti wouldn't happen, I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So even the Sai Baba, if the girl, if the performer is performing, but if the vocalist is like singing in a mellow voice, but uh, the communication is there is some cut. So it's like from music to dance to audience. So all the sabha would not enjoy also is what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it's
a lot of times, another challenge that we face um, is sound setting in,
yes,
especially in dance performances, where the complaint ends up being that yeah, we could see the dancer, she or he was doing whatever, but we couldn't hear the words of
uh,
what you were singing because the mridangam was very loud. And that's sort of like a double-edged thing for the dancer, because they really want to hear the mridangam really loud
correct,
and clear,
correct, correct.
and the enunciation of the vocalist will get lost in that.
So catching on that. So now
Yeah,
you are both. You are a mridangist and you are also a singer.
right,
So usually whenever I did dance kacheris at that time, they wanted a mic for mridangam also.
correct,
Okay, and of course, as a vocalist, they wanted, of course, that they need a mic. So
correct.
that overpowers the balance of it is what is needed. So without mic for mridangam, is it audible for the dancer? It's not. But is it audible for the audience? It is. So that's a challenge, I guess, where to put the sound. I do agree. In Go ahead.
So it depends on the size of the stage and size of the audience. So if you're performing in front of more than 500 people, that's like a
Right.
major performance hall. So in that case, you need major amplification. You need proper monitors on stage. The monitors have to be balanced in such a way that maybe the dancer is able to hear the mridangam louder than what the audience is supposed to.
Audience is
So
supposed
you
to.
can sort of play with those levels when you have a bigger space. So that's easy. When you have a bigger space, it gets easier.
Right.
The other side is when you have a really intimate setting where you're doing a micless performance, for example,
Performance. Yes.
which is traditionally what you would expect. So, or like a rehearsal space, for instance. So that is easy to work with. That's also very easy to work with, because as a mridangist, if a mridangist is sensitive to the dance, the lyrical content, and the musical nuances, they will automatically reduce the intensity in certain places and play
Right.
appropriately.
Correct. Correct.
Um, and seasoned mridangists are able to do this.
Right.
So that is easy. What becomes a challenge is those medium spaced auditoriums, where
Audit.
once you're mic'd, you want to hear yourself really well. So you keep cranking up the volume. You hear musicians say this all the time, right? No sound
Yes.
is coming. I can't hear myself. Increase, and then it becomes a
Yes.
competition amongst themselves. So that's where the challenge is. Um,
Okay. So playing, so you're saying playing for a dance kacheri is a little difficult task, or I wouldn't say it's a challenging task than doing, Carnatic kacheri.
Right. From a vocalist's point of view, as
Point.
well as a mridangist point of view. For a vocalist, it's a little more straightforward in that, in addition to understanding the composition and learning it in the proper way, the vocalist also has to understand basic concepts of the
Correct.
dance. What is
Correct.
happening? Like, when do you start the abhinaya, or okay, now the 30 minutes has started, or whatever. So those
Right.
basic
Right.
concepts they should know. They don't need to know how to dance.
So,
Understanding of lyrics is more important when you're singing for dance than in a vocal performance. You can get away with not knowing a certain line and you can just still execute it.
executed. Yeah. Yeah.
Stamina is important for a vocalist when you're
Of
singing
course.
for dance, because you have to be able to carry yourself through rehearsals. You have to be able to carry yourself through the program without stopping. You don't have an opportunity to rest,
Yes.
because you'll throw off everybody's planning.
Planning. Correct.
Teamwork, you have to be a good person to, to be able to do that.
That's a nice way of saying it. Good
Yeah,
person.
yeah. The understanding. So understanding that the dancer is the lead performer and supporting. So that
Okay.
sentiment is not necessary when you're doing a solo performance. So that's one aspect. Being able to convey the bhavam in a short time. Because in
Right.
a vocal performance, if it's not coming across, you can take your own time. You can play with it. You can do more Nereval, whatever. But
Right.
here you're given 40 repetitions. I mean, you obviously you don't count, you watch, but then you have to sort of bring out the emotion in at the same time in real time along with the dancer.
Right, along with the dancers,
So
right.
that is a challenge. Spot improvisations, because they'll say, okay, I'm doing a sanchari here, you just need to sing for x number of minutes. So you have to have knowledge of the ragam, you have to have knowledge of how to bring about the line, what kind of improvisation to do.
Improvisation,
Is
yes.
it dramatic or is it mellow?
Right,
That kind of
right.
understanding has to be there.
Yeah, that's
Presence of
what you
mind, if they miss a line, or dancers, I mean, they'll do that on the spot, or they'll add another uh, dimension to that same line, especially in abhinaya based compositions.
compositions,
So
yes.
you have to have that presence of mind that, okay, I mean, rehearsal I did it 3 times, but she wants to do it couple more times, so I need to sing it.
Sing,
So you have to
okay.
watch and be able to do that.
Right, right. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
So
when it comes to a nritta piece versus an abhinaya piece, like
right.
for example a javali, and then you take a tilana
Hmm.
for as a percussionist, um, it is a challenge, I would say, because for tilana it's a treat for a percussionist for sure.
Absolutely.
You get all the gatis, jatis, and all of that in between. But for a javali or a padam, you don't have any jatis. All you have is the
Correct.
following. So how would you describe that as, like, what goes through?
So two aspects play into that. One, when you're accompanying. Now, first, I should give a disclaimer that I have more experience singing than playing rhythm for dance. But I whatever little bit I know, I'll try to tell. So when you're playing for a tilana, for example, there is a certain switch that you have to turn off in your mind, where you have to stop listening to the vocalist completely and follow just the footwork or the natwangam. Like, you
That one.
cannot afford to, because as a mridangist that plays for kacheris, you are trained to listen to the nuances and play along the song
Right,
with the song
right.
and embellish it and all that. So you have to sort of resist from doing that and follow the footwork and play the
Footwork.
jatis and all that.
Right, right.
So that becomes actually a bigger challenge for a mridangist than playing for a padam or a javadi.
Oh, okay.
Playing for a padam is just like playing in a kacheri. You play for the song.
Ah,
You don't really have
okay.
to play for the dancer unless it is demanded. If there is a particular sanchari, or if there is a particular story that they are depicting, that you have to give effects or something like that, then you have to follow the dance. But the rest of the
Dance.
time, you can close your eyes and just follow the vocalist.
Follow the workers. See, you just changed my perspective. I thought, um, you know, doing mridangam for a javali or a padam is much more difficult than to the tilana, but tilana or nutta item. But
Yeah.
it's a different perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, playing for tilanas, first, not only do you have to have that switch where you don't listen to the vocalist, but secondly, there is more preparation required.
Yes,
You
that's true.
have to study the jatis, you have to know what is happening. In a padam, it is not necessary. You just you go on embellishing it based on sensitivity. Like, if you know music, if you know how to sing, playing mridangam is not for a
Not
padam is very easy.
okay. Okay. Wonderful. That's nice to know. That's really nice to know. It's like, so for musical kacheris versus dancing, we have this, I don't know, should I say a norm or a theory? I would say a theory. Yeah, so that playing, playing for, or singing per se, singing for a dance recital is a little bit inferior to do for that of doing a musical kacheri. So, as a seasoned musical or vocalist, I would
Hmm.
rather do vocal kacheri than sing for a dancer. So that is, I should say, it's a theory which is being there, which is floating around. Like, no, I'm learning music. I can't sing for
Yeah,
dancing.
I don't
So
sing for dance. That's not my thing. I'm
that's not my
training
thing.
to become a kacheri vocalist, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, what do you, what is your thought on it? So,
So it's sort of like it's, it's like singing for Bollywood versus kacheris. You know, so for example, if singing for, I'm not saying that singing for Bollywood is easy. It's by no means is it. Playback singing is very difficult, but the skill set that you need for that is different from what you need for kacheri singing. You don't need as much stamina, for instance, but that
right,
is the more popular form.
Form.
So the way of the world is you work harder if you want to be accomplished in a field that is not as popular. So it's sort of the converse, right? So the same thing goes for singing for dance versus singing for music,
Thing for
for kacheris. Singing for dance, for a production or for a single program, requires a lot more preparation targeted to that performance than you would do for a kacheri. You can go on, if you have practiced for years, you can just go and sit on stage and sing for 3 hours kacheri.
right,
But
right.
dance you cannot. You have to have a week of rehearsals and understanding, because it's teamwork, like I said.
Yes, it is.
So a lot more goes into that, and all of those things that I mentioned: understanding of the dance, being able to convey the bhava in a short amount of time,
Time. Yes,
being able to deliver what is required of you stat. Like for example, the dancer will say, okay, I have an entry, I'm going to do this, and then when I come to the center of the stage, then you start the padam. So then you have to sort of plan that space, like, okay,
correct.
she's going to do this and she's going to depict that, I'm going to sing this alapana for this portion, that portion, and yet show the full picture of the ragam, or what is appropriate for that composition, bring out
Complete.
the sthai bhavam of the composition, set the mood, and then I will start the composition appropriately, because they won't care. They'll come and sit, they'll be in the center of the stage and they'll look at you and like, start. And
Right.
we would not be done with the alapana. So that's, that kind of bad planning can happen if you are not tuned to that. So it's much harder to be able to do that kind of improvisation for dance.
For
But the
dance.
danger there is, once you get used to doing 2 minute alapanas or 1.5 minute Neraval, you go and sit on stage for a kacheri, only that comes out. You cannot do a you cannot do a 7 minute alapana, because your brain is tuned to doing that 2 minute
To do
alapana
it
for
to
dance.
Kalapana. Okay. So there have there are there I mean it's advantages and also disadvantages. But
Yeah, it's a switch. You have to just switch your mindset.
okay. So
Yeah, the
is
dance mindset is different. The
correct,
kacheri
correct.
mindset
It
is
is
different.
different. Yes. So is it do you feel it is inferior or superior or
I don't think it is inferior by any means.
yeah,
Um, my guru used to say, I would ask him, when I would go for dance rehearsals, I would ask him, is it okay to go? And he has sung uh, extensively for dance. Like he has toured with Vempati Garu when he was
right.
younger, and he's done a lot of work for dance. So I would ask him, is it okay to go and sit for rehearsal? He's like, yeah, that's the best practice you can get. Sing for 3 hours, don't restrict your voice, and just give your everything in rehearsals, because that is the best practice you'll get, because you're forced to practice.
Forced to practice, yes.
At home, you sing two compositions, and if your voice is tired, you'll just
Give
you can
up.
back off. You'll like, give up.
Yes.
It's okay, I'll go and eat something, come back. That attitude will be there. But when you have that pressure in a rehearsal, and they'll keep making you sing again and again until the issue is fixed, right? So that's the best practice you can get, is what he used to say. Now again, you have to be careful, respect your voice and not abuse it, and you know um,
Right.
so that aspect is there. But yeah, it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy to
No,
sing for
yeah,
dance.
definitely it's not easy to sing dancing. So because for sancharis, for example,
Hmm,
you have for in musical kacheris, you don't have to show that many sancharis, or you. But
correct,
when it comes to dance, you have to show different. I mean, the dancer will be doing sancharis, but each repetition you have to sing it little differently.
correct,
Oh, that's I would say that's a challenge for a musician.
correct.
At the same time, for the dancer also, and that again, that's my perspective. You learn more, or when you're singing for different, dance performances. What do you think?
Absolutely. So you are touching upon Nereval, right? So when we take a line and do Nereval on that line,
Correct.
so in a kacheri, the Nereval has a very um, definite format that we follow. We do slower speed, we do the raga based Nereval, then we do first speed Nereval, second speed Nereval. So it is more geared towards the musicality of that line and less towards the bhavam of the line. Like you can still bring out the bhavam. There's nothing stopping you from that. But there are other aspects that can overpower that.
Oh,
Those things cannot and should not be done when you're doing Neraval in a dance performance.
dance performance.
You
Okay.
cannot be doing so for example, so in the Ramani Samanam, where you have that line, right?
Yes.
పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనె లోలుకు మాటలాడు పలుకు పలుకులకు తేనె లోలుకు మాటలాడు. This kind of narrative you cannot and should
You
not do
cannot.
in a
Yes.
dance. In
For
here,
that.
I can for a moment I can forget what the lyrics are and still sing it, and it is still okay
Okay. Right.
for a vocal performance. But in dance,
No.
you
No.
cannot. And if that does not go with the whatever is being depicted on stage by the dancer, then that is wrong.
Oh, yes.
So the style of Neraval that you do for a Sanchari and the style of Neraval that you do in a Kacheri is totally different. So you have to treat them in different ways.
Different ways. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's more and in a way it is more fluid in dance because you can exchange between the violin and flute and yourself and veena, and you
Correct.
can
There will
sort of
be
take
a jiggle.
turns and right. So if something dramatic like Vishwarupam or something is happening, then the instruments can take over and really bring out a dramatic effect.
Dramatic effect.
Um, but in a kacheri you cannot do that. You have to alternate between yourself and the violinist.
Right.
And
Right.
if you do 10 avartanams, then they are expected to do 8 to 10 avartanams. So it's like it's more structured.
Right.
So
Right.
there are both ways you can look at it. So there is freedom in dance, in that it's more fluid the amongst the musicians, and in a kacheri it is more rigid.
More
But the
rigid.
style of Neraval that you do in a kacheri you cannot do in a dance because you're tied to the dancer.
Correct.
You have to follow that.
Follow it. Of course. Of course. So, can you demonstrate a small, whatever, however you want to choose, a padam or a tilana when sung for a dance versus sung in.
Okay, so there is we can do there is a javali in Kamas.
Okay.
Chanaro ఈ మోహము సహింపగలేనే. You know that one, okay.
I do.
Mm, జానరో ఈ మోహము సహింపగలేనే. జానరో ఈ మోహము సహింపగలేనే. మనిని నిజలమేల మరుబరి కోర్వలేనే. జనరు. So this that manini when you're doing for dance.
Dance. Yes.
Manini 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 manini. Depending on what the dancer is doing,
For the
there is
dance.
more fluidity
Correct.
in the
Correct.
Neraval.
Yes. 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 I agree to that. So it's wonderful to hear. And then, as a percussionist, we touched upon doing it for kacheri versus doing it for dancing. And then we also touched upon doing it for tilana versus javali.
Right.
So, what do you think is um, giving a percussion, support for dancing versus a vocal concert? Um, how different is it, or how much can you improvise in dancing versus vocal kacheri
So when you're playing for nritta based pieces in for dance,
for dance?
you have limited scope for improvisation,
Yeah,
obviously, because you have to play exactly the same jatis. Now the same jatis can be played in different ways. If you're playing a simple tishram, you can play it in male column, you can play it in double speed, you can add embellishments to that, whatever. So those kinds of restricted improvisations you can do. In a vocal performance you have more scope for improvisation, but again you are tied to the vocalist. If the you have to be sensitive to what the vocalist is doing. If they are
Don't.
singing something more mellow and extending plain notes or singing more bhava oriented, then you cannot be playing nakadadim tidim nakadadim. You can't do that. So that sensitivity has to be there for for a mridangist in both ways. So I would say that when you're playing for a kacheri, you are subservient to the vocalist. When you're playing for a dance kacheri, you are primarily subservient to the dancer, but there is a secondary subservience that you
Seven.
have to do with the vocalist as well. When you're playing, for example, a tilana or moonrita based, like we said previously, you turn off that switch, you don't listen to the vocalist and
Vocal.
completely submit yourself to the dance and play. But
Right.
when you're playing for a padam, then you have to do both. um,
Yes.
yeah, you have to embellish the what the vocalist is doing also, and hopefully the vocalist is well aligned with the dancer so it gels.
Right. Right.
So that judgment call you have to make at that point and see where it is going. Are you required to change the course of what is happening? So mridangist has a lot of power in a
Oh
performance.
yes. Yes.
They can change the course of what is going on completely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
um,
Yeah.
and it's such a wonderful instrument. Like you can bring out the sensitivity of a particular line beautifully by either by underplaying or playing more of the gumki oriented phrases, or
Yes.
just giving chapa and coming along. So even those simple things will sort of highlight the the
The
mellow
whole
portions.
food.
And if
Right.
you want it to be energetic, then who else can do it, right? So the mridangist is the one
Absolutely.
who has to bring that in.
Exactly. The answer relies heavily upon the mridangist,
Right,
heavily, and if that is not correct, then the whole kacheri, whether it is musical or a dance kacheri, it there is something
right,
called that wouldn't come out again. As
correct,
I said, the rasasiddhi wouldn't happen. It's like a team effort.
right,
Um, but I for me, the major portion is, I think, vocalist and the mridangam. These two,
absolutely.
if these two are well mellowed, the performance would come out really, really well. And now coming to your other aspect of music, that which is Hindustani. You have learned Hindustani music also. So, have you ever played a Hindustani music concert for dancing? So,
I have accompanied my guru when he sang for kathak, but I have by myself I have not. um,
how different is it? Because I've been because of the dance forms I have learned, Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam both are heavily into South Indian Carnatic music.
right,
I just saw so many dance performances of Kathak and Manipuri, but ca- uh, the musical dimensions are totally different to that one. So, what is so I mean, like, to hear music has no language, is what I feel. So,
right.
if the talam and ragam and all are like really well male so well gelled,
Gelled, yeah,
and yeah, well gelled, then we can just you know hear it, and then we can enjoy that irrespective of what language it is. So
right.
when you talk about Hindustani, how different is it?
So, given my limited experience in that, I'll try to articulate what I feel is the difference. So, the the disparity between performance styles for a solo performance and for dance, like we talked about in Carnatic, that disparity is greater in Hindustani than it is in Carnatic, because Carnatic music is more composition based.
Right.
So whether it is a dance performance or a solo performance, you are still singing kritis. You are still singing
Correct.
padams. You are still singing javalis, varnams, and tilanas. It's the same
Correct.
repertoire. In
Correct.
fact, you
Correct.
can take a dance composition and sing it in a kacheri, and it
Kacheri
doesn't. It's
also.
the same. You
Right.
can do the same
Right.
things with Hindustani, because especially in khyal singing, when you're singing when you're doing a full-fledged vocal performance, you are basically bringing out or you're basically presenting one single ragam for an extended period of time. Like you can take Yaman, for example, and you sing Yaman for 45 minutes. So there is a the bada khyal, there is a chota khyal, you can do a tarana, various compositions, two or three compositions within that same raga, they will present for that
Great
entire period of time, starting from a slow speed, gradually increasing it, showing different improvisation formats, where
format.
the lyrical content is not as important as it is in Carnatic. Like a single composition in Hindustani will be only 4 lines.
Ah, okay,
A bandish, it'll have an asthai, it'll have an antara, 2 lines each. That's it.
okay.
Whether
Oh,
it is a bada khyal, chota khyal, drut bandish, whatever it is, it'll have only 4 lines. So the majority of the time you are only improvising, and sometimes you don't even hear the words.
right.
But when you do Hindustani music for Kathak, that dynamic changes as
Ah,
immediately lyrical content becomes important.
important.
The structure of what you're presenting is very tight, whereas when you're doing a performance, it is more very fluid, much more fluid than what you would do in Carnatic.
Carnatic.
So
Okay,
that difference between the two is a lot greater in Hindustani than in Carnatic. When you sing
Carnatic.
Carnatic for Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam, you any kacheri vocalist can quickly adapt and do it. In Hindustani, it's much harder.
Harder.
Is
Ah,
what I feel.
right.
Um, yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So that's wonderful to know. Can you give me an example of an a Nayaka depiction in Hindustani versus um, in Carnatic, if I may ask?
In Hindustani, it's difficult. I'll have to think about.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
in Carnatic, there are so in Carnatic, what the challenge is for male performers. We can
Yes,
talk about that a little bit. Um, as you know, majority of the compositions that we have available, because you said Nayaka, so I'm saying
Nayaka.
this.
Yes, no, that's
Majority of what we have available today is written specifically for female
Nayaka.
heroines,
Yes.
right? And challenge that male dancers tend to face somewhat applies to male singers also. Uh, for example, male dancer is presenting a composition like a Padam or a Javali, which is obviously Naika oriented.
Nayaka oriented.
He is not only expected to effectively convey the bhavam, but he also has the additional pressure of not overstepping and making making the portrayal very effeminate or like a
Yes.
caricature. So he is walking on a tightrope. Now,
Yes.
whether this sort of pressure is more pronounced today in today's social climate is an interesting topic than say 200 years ago, where
Yeah.
because our traditional forms like Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam, the gender roles have been pretty fluid. In that,
Yes.
depending on composition or theme, any dancer is irrespective of the gender can take on the role of a male or a female
Female.
dancer
Yes.
to the play. Say, for example, Lord Rama or Lord Krishna can be played by a female dancer,
Female.
but a male dancer portraying a role of a female heroine, like the one that I just sang in
Right.
Janaro,
Janaro. Yep.
will not be as well accepted as the female,
The
right?
female. Yep. Yep.
So the
Oh.
the idea is while our art form itself is allowing for the gender fluidity, there are social expectations that come in the way,
Mhm.
especially for male dancers,
Yeah.
in order to convey the emotions effectively. Right? The same issue comes in the way for male singers, although in a slower, in a lesser
Lesser
extent. Just as it is a greater challenge for the audience to accept a male dancer performing, portraying
performing
a
a Bama
heroine, like
Kalapa.
yeah, something like a Samayami Rara.
Yes. Yes.
Imagine a male dancer portraying that, right? There is a
Yeah.
there is a tendency of social misacceptance when a male
Yes.
singer sings this javli also, even in a
No.
kacheri.
Ah.
So it's almost like, yeah, I know male singer is singing this javli, so somewhere I'm going to disregard the lyrical content and just listen to the male singer
The male singers.
singing like a
Oh.
man, right? And this becomes even more challenging when the male singer is singing for a male dancer.
The permutations and combinations. You're like it's like a what do you call a math puzzle, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if a male singer is singing this for a female dancer who is portraying a male role, that
That
dynamic significantly changes, and audience is very
Right.
accepting for that, and we are used to that concept.
Correct.
There's singers for dance are probably 50-50 male and female.
Yes.
So we are used to
Yes.
listening to the same compositions in both
Both
voices.
both genders. Yes,
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, yeah. So, would you be willing to demonstrate one such padam or
sure.
javli thing?
So if is it okay to sing Tamil padams?
Absolutely.
So there is this really my favorite padam. This is from the Nandanar Charitram.
Okay.
There are two compositions. One is where Nandanar goes to the temple, um, and he's not allowed inside the temple because he's from a lower caste.
Of
So
course.
he's trying to see where Lord Shiva is, but he's unable to see because Nandi is in front.
In front.
Nandi is blocking his way. So he pleads to Shiva, saying that I can't see you. This huge bull is standing in front of me. Can you please ask him to move a little bit?
Move.
So that is the first padam. The
Oh wow.
second padam immediately that happens after that is Shiva telling Nandi to move because my greatest devotee has come. So please
Oh
move. He
wow.
just wants to see me. He won't come inside. Don't worry. He'll stand there and look at me.
Oh
So
wow.
the temple
That's
actually, the
a story.
Nandi is offset. If you go today and see, it is offset. So there is a story
Really? Oh
for that.
wow. I have to go and see that.
So the first padam is that. So vadi maretirikkude malai pole oru maadu paduthirukkade. So vadi maretirikkude is my line of sight is blocked, and one bull as big as a mountain is lying in front of me. So
Front of me. Okay. Okay.
mm, வழிமறைத்திருக்குதே மலை போலே ஒரு மாடு படுத்திருக்குதே வழிமறைத்திருக்குதே மலை போலே ஒரு மாடு படுத்திருக்குதே. So this is the first one. Then next one is in Purvi Kalyani. Next one, Shiva is telling Nandi now, Satra Vilegirum Pillai, Sannidhanam Maraikadam. So can you move a little bit? He's saying that he can't see me. சற்றே விலகீரும் பிள்ளாய் சந்நிதானம் மறைக்கதாம் நீ சற்ற விலகீரும் பிள்ளாய். Emotion is immediately brought out in just
Sure.
the way the composition is composed. There's more authority in where Lord Shiva is telling.
Lord Shiva is saying yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nandanar's is like really, really pleading. So that
So
difference
the
can be seen.
scene,
So
scene.
this is from a male perspective. Male singer, male hero,
Male hero and male
Lord
dancer.
Shiva is also male, no problem. The other one, other one I'll try to sing. We'll try to imagine male singer, male dancer trying to portray this.
Sure.
And you probably know this Javali.
Okay.
Vani Pondu Chala
Oh,
Vadda.
Pandu Chalu Vaddane. Of course.
Re 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 na re re. వాణి పొందు చాలువదనే వాణి పొందు చాలువదనే వనితమణియల వాణి పొందు చాలువదనే వనితమణియల వాణి పొందు చాలువదనే చాణమాటలెల్లదాని 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 ಲೆಲ್ಲದಾನಿ ಚಣಮಾಟ ಲೆಲ್ಲದಾನಿ ಚಣಮಾಟ ಲೆಲ್ಲದಾನಿ సదనమే సదమనుచునుండెడి దాని సదనమే సదమనుచుండెడి వాణి పొందు చాలువదనే ఏ ఏ
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I would like, want to go get up and dance for this, wonderful kacheri. It's again, it's Kandita Naika, which was preceding dancer that's what she was depicting. Kandita
Okay.
is, I think, a very famous Naika in dance repertoire. I can say, I think
Mm, mm,
you have so many glimpses, you have so many layers of Kandita where you can portray so well. So,
mm.
and I think it is um, from a vocalist perspective, is Kandita easier to sing versus Swadhina Patika or Vipralambda or something little mellow heroines?
Something that is more overtly,
Overtly, yeah,
yeah,
authoritative or,
more authoritative, right?
yes,
Perhaps, perhaps, but again, it depends on how the dancer is treating
trading.
the piece. And after a point, you become subservient to whatever the dancer requires. So if they want it mellow,
Yes,
you do it there, because there are various shades that you can bring it out, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, what is your favorite um, um, kacheri piece, or what is your favorite song to sing, or to whether it could be? I mean, like it could be any piece which you want, a favorite piece which you want to play or sing. I mean, when I say play for a mridangam, um, what they should be different. They will be definitely different, right? So, if you can.
Um, since we are talking about Abhinaya-based pieces, it has to be either it could be a kriti also, but predominantly it has to be a padam or a javali or a
Yeah.
varnam.
Okay.
Um, so there's another javali that I really like in Kapi Raga.
Okay. We would like to hear if you can.
Yeah. Mm, so the na, 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 ra, ra, na, ra. పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు ప్రణనాయక ఆ, పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు ప్రణనాయక ఆ, పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు ప్రణనాయక ఆ, పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు ప్రాణనాయక పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు మూచిన్న పోయిన మర్మమే మీరా మూచిన్న పోయిన మర్మమే మీరా మాయలాడి బోధజే సే మాయ చేసేరా ఆ, పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవద్దు ప్రాణనాయక ఆ, పరులన్న మాట నమవదు. ధర్మపురిని స్థిరముగ నేల కొన్న సామిని ధర్మమున నేలు కోరా నీకు మ్రోకేరా పరులన్న మాట నమవదు ప్రాణ నాయక పరులన్న మాట నమ్మవదు ప్రణనాయక.
You believe it or not, that is the Padam, Dharmapuri Padam, I just demonstrated for my segment.
Okay.
This is my favorite Padam also because it has the Nayakas, which I love. So it is Kalahantarita or Swadhina Patika, however you depict it. But it is. Thank you so much for such wonderful depiction of Javali. It's really really very nice. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then you have given a wonderful perspective from a vocalist or a percussionist artist, how it is to sing by for a vocal concert versus, for a dance kacheri. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate and heartfelt gratitude to you for being a part of, Siddhendra Aradhana 2002.
My
Uh,
pleasure. My pleasure. My thanks for this opportunity to talk about this subject, and very nice
Absolutely.
discussion. And the program is going really well. Best wishes for continuing this not only this year, but um,
Absolutely.
you should continue this for many years to come. And I know it's a lot of hard work, but it's really rewarding.
Yes, it is rewarding. I mean, at the end of the day, when you hear all of this, it's really enlightening and uplifting all my spirits. So, thank you so much, Lalit, for taking time. And I know you're very, very busy, but I really appreciate. So,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
What a wonderful discussion again. It was so inspirational again to listen another layer to the wholesomeness that is dance. Absolutely wonderful to hear that
Yes,
perspective.
absolutely, Sneha. It's like when I heard again the same Kapi Ragam Javali, I was like, oh my God. It's like, on my Nataraja Swami blessing me, all my gurus and all my parents, my parents, not all my parents, my parents, my gurus, and all of your best wishes blessing me, saying, you are doing a good job. So it's a reassurance. So thank you for everything, Lalit Garu. It's really very very nice for me. I can't even begin to express my gratitude to him. Really, I mean, we have to wield knowledge and keep it, and then I don't have words to tell how how much he has to share, and the as a person also is such a very nice person whenever you and we have to be very thankful that he is from Cleveland. So I, in future probably I'll go and I don't have a good gatram. I've asked, or else I would have just joined his class if he takes. But yeah, then let's jump on our next artist, Sneha. She's waiting for us in backstage. But Lalit ji, thank you so much again. I really appreciate your time and effort and coming and putting a thought to this one. Thank you. Go
Thank
ahead,
you very
Sneha.
much. Absolutely. Thank you. And our next guest for this evening is none other than Srimati Shailaja Chaudhary, who is the director of Shri Kuchipudi Natyalaya in Greater Boston. She is a devoted teacher and also a very graceful performer. She has composed, performed, and directed many Kuchipudi dance ballets, solos, and group performances. She started Dance for Cause to raise funds for charity organizations. She received dance training from Padma Shri Dr. Shobha Naidu. Shailaja ji has been a professional Kuchipudi teacher for the last 24 years and has been performing for over 34 years. She has earned many, many accolades for her performances, including Shringarmani in Kal Ke Kalakar by Sur Shringar Samsad. And to add to her experience, she also has choreographed dance ballets, Deepavali, and Kathakalika. She holds a master's degree in Kuchipudi classical dance form, as well as she has received a Government of India scholarship for advanced training in Kuchipudi. She was also awarded the Natya Visharada from the Kuchipudi Art Academy in Hyderabad. Again, once again, it's our pleasure and honor to have you here in our studio. Welcome.
You're muted, Shailaja. Ask something.
Gurubhyom Namaha, Vigneshaya Namaha, Arunachala Shiva. Thank you, Kiranmai Garu and Sneha, for giving me the opportunity to be part of this collective event put forth by, coordinated by Kiranmai Garu. So I'm honored. There are many scholars out there, way knowledgeable than me, but I will just share my uh, experience and thoughts today. I am not perfect, but I will.
No one is Shailaja garu. No one is perfect. We are all still in learning process. Sneha was telling something before that if you are an art student, you are always a student. So you
Yes.
just keep on it because it's a big ocean, and we are just learning a little bit of it, and then there's no end to it. So once you're a student, you're always a student for any kind of art form, whether it is dance, performing, any kind of performing arts, not just performing arts, any kind of art form, I would say. Would you agree with that, Sneha?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this humility and this craving for learning more is what adds so much more grace
Yes.
to the performance. Absolutely. So we are so looking forward to seeing you.
So, Sailaja, I got from you that you are from you learned from uh, uh, Dr. Shobha Naidu Garu, a great artist. She is called an Abhinaya queen herself. So, you want to share something? What is Abhinaya for you?
Abhinaya is life for me, and um I am kind of on the innocent side of a lad since I was a child. Um, and my mother, she introduced me to Abhinaya, and I didn't have a clue, but I just mimicked her. So my guru used to, Mahankali Sri Ramlu Garu was my first guru. And then after that, we moved from where we were before. And Josrila Venkatrama Sharma Garu took me under his arms, J.V. Sharma Garu. So I was blessed to have him. And they used to finish the class and they used to leave. And after the class, I used to have another 1 hour class. Because whatever expressions they showed, my mother used to remember them and explain me. Uh, do it like this, do it like that. I'm sure I didn't have a clue what it was. I just mimicked.
Your mom. Okay.
Yes.
That's
But
what.
at the age of 13, I think that's when my J.V. Sharma Garu Guruji, he introduced me to a competition show. And I had no clue and I performed. More than performing, I enjoyed watching other people perform there. And as you were saying, it's learning is constant.
Yes, it is.
And I think watching so many performances before my presentation helped me achieve whatever I achieved on that day.
I won the award,
Of
but
course, that's it.
I don't take the credit for that. I think it's the uh, teaching my guru gave me and the connection that happened during the time when I was watching the performance
Performance.
about the Abhinaya part.
Correct, correct.
I think that was the first instance I remember as Abhinaya connecting to my life or to my soul.
Okay.
From then, I started, I think, enjoying. Till then, there was an awkward moment, like I did not.
No. the-
I did not feel comfortable actually doing expressions.
Okay.
I'm kind of very quiet kid. I used to be a very quiet kid, not anymore. Becoming a teacher, you can't be quiet anymore.
No, you can't be quiet. Yes.
I was more of a quiet kid, introvert, more watching the world around cluelessly. So that was the first instance for me in my life. I remember very clearly getting connected to Abhinaya. So then after my mom's 1 hour classes went away, I was able to follow the guru's instruction. But uh, something happened in my life, and my mom went to Hyderabad and he saw my guru's performance. Of course, she inspired millions, and my mom is just one speck out of those millions.
Right.
She came back to my hometown and she kept on talking about her performance. Oh, her expression is this, that. And I said, huh. By then, because I was performing and I am kind of progressing in
Right.
what I was thinking, I was progressing and all, but the minute I heard about this Shobha Naidu, who is this, huh? So the curiosity was there to see her. I went to a performance in Rajahmundry. She didn't show up there for some personal reasons. I was very disappointed. I watched the Sri Krishna Parijatam presented by the senior students. And then again, there was an ad in the paper in Vijayawada Kalakshetra. They said, performance by Dr. Shobha Naidu. I said, wow, this is the opportunity. Okay, let me see who she is, what she is. And that moment, that performance of 1.5 hours she did, I still can't, it is still fresh in my mind. And then I said, if at all I have to dance, I have to be her. That's it. So, end result, my teacher is my inspiration for my Abhinaya. Yesterday, I was watching Sasikalaka talk about how it was like a festive thing for her to go to the dance class and watch my guru perform under Master Girls Academy when she was there. It is true. Like when she performed, she used to just take us to another world. And the experience that I have is very unique, and I think I'm very blessed. Right after that instance that I watched her performance, like I said to my parents, I'm going to move to Hyderabad. They agreed to me and they sent me over there. So I stayed with my guru from 1992 till 98. I literally lived with her. So every morning she used to practice. In the week, she used to practice 3 days. So that 3 days, that morning practice, it's my festive time. Like I had the opportunity to just sit and watch her. That's it. The learning just happens as we watch. There's no like a formal training, do the expression like this, look there, look here. No. It's just you watch and you adapt. So adapting in the sense, it's not, it happens instantaneously.
Yes, dharana. Yep.
Dharana. So, and my goal is to mimic her and become her. And there is a point in my life when my Mridangam sir used to say, oh, Madam Garlag chesestunnavu.
Oh, wow.
He was like a very proud moment, but yet I said, huh, really? So there was a spark that initiated by, I don't remember who commented on this in one of the Parijatam performances that we went. Is that it? If you mimic your guru, is that your goal? That is it. And then that whole night I was thinking about it. Is that it? And then I thinking about it, I said, yeah, she's the best in Abhinaya. What is there for me to not mimic her?
Right.
But yet that question still lay deep. And then I said, okay, is there anything different? Then that observation slowly started. And then I said, okay, this looks so good on my guru. Does this look good on me really?
Okay.
So that questioning started. Once that question started, the development is totally different.
Different. Yes, I agree.
And I'm sure many of the artists start from there and then have their own unique identity. But that dharana shakti is given by my guru.
That's awesome. That's
She
awesome.
wasn't there. Like, I will give that credit to my mother. She was the first one that introduced that spark.
Yes.
It started from there, but it didn't stop there, and it kept progressing by Shiva's grace. It just happened. My first love in my life is music from my childhood, but music never stayed with me. I always have to run for the teachers. They used to leave. I used to not be. I used to move. Something used to happen, but dance never left me.
That's,
So
I guess that's your ultimate, goal, or I would say destination. You have some plans, God has other plans for you. So
that's true. That's true. So that's what that only happened later in my life. And because whenever I used to perform, after a few years performing with my guru and performing on my own, some performances, there was a realm that I used to go into. And when I'm on the stage, I am not me.
me, yep, yep,
So I said, okay, this feels like something else different. It's like I'm not me.
right,
And
right.
then slowly looking inwards, it is the Parakai Pravesa, obviously.
Yeah,
So
you will roll. It is.
traveling to so many bodies is like dream.
Yes,
There's in some of the pravachanas, they say every dream is like a janma. So
absolutely.
every time we perform a character in so many ballets my guru produced and directed, every time we take a character, it is like a Parakai Pravesa, and it's a journey. It's a different journey.
Absolutely.
And
I relate to that.
it's so interesting. I could connect perfectly to my students because kids here are very sincere at their efforts, but they struggle with expressions.
They
And
do.
then I say, hey, I was clueless like you. So just mimic. I say, I will show the expressions, and I tell them, it is very intimidating to see somebody matured and showing the expressions.
Right,
So don't get intimidated because I was there. I used to get very intimidated trying to
right, right,
being in the fear that will I be exactly like her? Will I be the
right.
same? Will I be able to deliver the same?
Delivered.
So that hesitation, I know that feeling.
Right,
So I
right.
tell my students, try with the hesitation, but don't stop trying.
Sure.
And they do try. They do
That's
try.
good.
And
I think that's what makes us a little bit satisfied. At least they're trying. At
yes,
least they're trying. Yeah.
definitely. And they're very
Yep.
sincere, very sincere.
Yes. So,
It's harder for kids to connect to
correct.
that part of
That's
the
part of, because mostly it's
culture.
just the culture.
Culture. There are a lot of things that are missed in the
Yes.
routine that we see in India. For example, if we have to uh, make a mala making is very common. We just walk on the road and somebody is making
Yes.
garlands and
Making
somebody is
garlands there.
doing these and selling, and they measure and then say, okay, Padimuralu, here, take it.
Yes.
It's very common. And when we go to temple, we do the harati and all that. Here also there are temples we do see the harati and all, but it's not the same like how
Different. It's different. Yes, I agree.
like putting the puvu in the thing. We don't do
Yes,
that
on
here.
that. Yes, we
Very
don't.
few do that because in the
There are certain things in India we don't have to learn. Like, for example, any mythological aspects of it. So say Ramayana or some of the mythological stories, we are listening to them. We grew up listening to them, but here it's not like that. So that plays a major role. I agree to that.
I heard recently, I was hearing these similar challenges for teachers in India also.
Ah,
Yeah, similar challenges because they are busy with something else, with with more into the gadgets.
the gadgets.
Um,
Of
so
course. Yeah,
they are equally struggling.
sure.
Not equally, I would say, somewhat struggling.
Okay.
But I think that will fade away quickly there because of so much of human interaction and everything.
Right.
So Abhinaya is just part of our life,
That's
and
wonderful.
it it is a travel. It's a
It's
journey.
a journey.
It's an
Yeah,
unending soul journey,
correct.
and
But
it's a blessing to have inspirations come in the form of definitely gurus are the guides for our direction.
thought,
But in life also, there are many instances where we can catch. If we go to a birthday party or something, just sit in a corner and then watch people
watch.
different, their mannerisms and how they
Yes,
react, how they, show themselves. It's very interesting.
it is. It is
And to be able to put that, integrate into something and then mimic that is
different.
again a challenge.
Yep.
Um, and it's there's still a lot of thing to
Learn, improvise. Yes.
plan and improvise things and be creative in how to bring those kind of
Kind of things in
opportunities or environments for not for us, yes, for us also, but more for the next generation.
next generation. Yep.
I want to invest time and energy into the next generation because
That's wonderful
gurus
initiative. For sure.
have, with the COVID and all, we lost a lot of in the past
2.5 years, precious
2 years,
time. Yep.
we lost a
So
lot.
when we come to Naika, which you're depicting, what is the Naika you chose and why? And what is the maybe one or two characters of that Naika?
So the Naika, uh, sorry, in the flyer I was put as Swadhina Patika,
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
but the pieces that I planned are Virahot Kantita, and that's the main bhava of the.
Okay. Let's jump on it. So you want your students to go first, the recording, or you want to go first?
Anything is fine.
Okay. Let's start with yours, and then we end with your student.
Sure, sure. I mean, as if you want me to present something with Swadhina Patika, I can
No,
definitely.
that's perfectly fine. I mean, we have a Sogasugada of one of your students performing. So, but don't worry about it. Just concentrate on what you wanted to perform. So then that's
We can
perfect.
start with Sogasukada and we'll end with Sanchara.
Okay.
I picked Radha as my heroine.
Okay.
Like.
All right. So
But first,
let's
we start
start.
with my student's performance.
Awesome. Okay.
Her name is Ina Arumandla.
Okay.
This is an excerpt out of her Rangapravesam.
Okay. Okay.
She's in college now.
Of course.
Getting
Yep.
ready to graduate next year. So this is Sogasukada by, it's a Sarangapani Pada. And the Naika is, she was a Mugdha Naika.
Yeah. She's Naika. Yep.
Mugdha Naika. And, but she becomes Parakiya.
Okay.
She becomes Parakiya and falls into the Kanya category.
Kanika. Yep. Let's
Because
watch.
she when she got married, she was not aware of marriage or any of that. She's just a kid and just playing, and in the middle of her play,
Right.
gets her and gets her married, and she forgets that she got married, and she falls in love with Krishna,
Okay.
and she becomes devoted to him.
Absolutely.
But then later, the husband comes,
Yes.
wants her to be young and ready to take her home.
Yeah.
Comes and tells, okay, let's leave. So then she's utterly not prepared for that. And now she realizes, oh, I am married, but Krishna, I was married when I was a little kid, not now.
Yeah, not now. Yep.
Um, so how do I depart from you? It's an unbearable separation, but still, you
Yep.
are like the lotus, and my heart is like the Padma. No matter how, sorry, you are like the sun, and I'm like the Padma. No
Padma.
matter how far we are, your feet are
Let's
still in my
together.
heart, and I have your thoughts in my
Okay. Let's
chitta.
jump on it then.
Yeah.
ಸೊಗಸುಗಡನಾದು ಸುಗುಣ ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ ಸೊಗಸುಗಡನಾದು ಸುಗುಣ ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ ಸೊಗಸುಗಡನಾದು ಸುಗುಣ ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ ಸೊಗಸುಗಡನಾದು ಸುಗುಣ ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ ಸೊಗಸುಗಡನಾದು ಸುಗುಣ
పోయివతుర ప్రీతి అరువ కుందూర నాసమి మధువచ్చి పీలచేను పోయివతుర ప్రీతి మరువ కుందూర నాసమి భాను పద్మమూలెంతో దూరముండిన నేమి భాను పద్మమూలెంతో దూరముండిన నేమి భాను పద్మమూలెంతో దూరముండిన నేమి ఆదరదము చిత్తము నీ పాదారవిందము చిత్తము ధ్యానము పేరులేక నీవే దైవమేయని ధ్యానము పేరులేక నీవే కృష్ణ 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 ధ్యానము వేరులేక నీవే దైవమే అని తలచియుదును గాని ధైర్యము విడువను తలచియుదును గాని ధైర్యము విడువను తలచియుదును గాని ధైర్యము విడువను అగడోచి పీలచేను పోయివతుర ప్రీతి అరువ కుందూర నాసమి మరువ కుందూర నాసమి మకటం
Wonderful. An amazing job, Salika.
This is a composition of my guru Andi.
Awesome.
Shobana garu చేశారు.
Let's jump on to your performance, Salaja. It's like we can't wait to watch you.
I might not be perfect, but
No one is perfect, Sailaja. I'm telling you, no one is perfect, Randy. We are all. It's a learning process, and um, it, we learn with every day. Every new experience, we learn something, and that's what keeps us going, I guess. And we cannot even be perfect, even by close. So perfect is an understatement for sure.
sure.
So please go.
I will be performing Sanchara Dadhara,
Awesome.
of
All-time favorite.
Master Garu's composition. And the Naika is Prouda Naika, Radha is Prouda Naika.
Okay.
They will be, but the bottom line state of her mind is Virahot Kantita.
Okay.
But you will see, because she will be traveling to the past, and even in the piece that we just finished, there is Apisarika, the entrance of the
Sorry.
heroine is Abhisarika. She's seeking to find Krishna. So
Yes.
the shades of Abhisarika were there in that one. Same in this Sanchara also. There are shades of other Nayika avasthas also, but the main state of her mind is Virahot Kantita.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So as far as the audio, should I be sharing the audio
No, just on it and it should be good.
just from outside source?
Yes.
Okay.
Battery 100%. Connected to Convosite.
Sorry for that.
That was so amazing, Sailaja. It's like very nice. This is a classic item by Master Garu. Uh, no one
Unbelievably.
can even touch a bit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I messed up some
No, no,
piece.
no, 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 no. It's a blessing from Master Garu to us for in regards to the Sanchara Dadara. It's like a ever classic
Yeah,
Ashtapadi, which was choreographed, and it doesn't matter how old it becomes. It's the beauty of it is still
always
there. Yes, always there.
very true.
So I really appreciate you taking time and blessing us with your performance. It's really, really nice.
Thank you for the opportunity. As I said, there are great gurus out there, great knowledgeable people out there, but to choose me, I'm assuming that's destined. Thank
Yes,
you for
absolutely.
the
Yeah, yeah. Next time, hopefully, we'll meet in person. And thanks for being a part of Siddhendra Aradhana 2022, Saraja.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Swasti. That's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And please do watch tomorrow and tomorrow morning evening session.
Yeah, I will watch rest of the ones that I missed today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But thank
Thank you. That was Sailaja from Boston, Massachusetts. Um, Ever beautiful item, Sanchara Dadara, my favorite, my personal favorite. I would thank all the gurus who has been a part of Siddhendra Aradhana 2022 until now. And today, Prafulla, thank you very much. Lal Subramanyam, Garu, thank you very much. And Salaja, thank you so much for being a part of Siddhendra Aradhana 2022. I will see you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock with another wonderful segment. Tomorrow it's going to be Venkatachalapati Vedantam talking about Nayakas or Nayaki glimpses of Ashtavida Nayakas in Bhamakalapam. You do not want to miss this. Please do join tomorrow at 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Swasti. Have a good night. Sri Guru Namaha.